Tinubu orders investigation into Kanu market fire. Senate defense decision on e-transmission of election results says action backed by data. New tax laws don't impose 25% levy on building materials, orders, says presidential committee. And on the international scene, Bondi beach shooting accused face court for the first time. Details of these stories after the break. Do stay with us. Nice to know that you're there. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has ordered an investigation into the fire outbreak that destroyed shops and goods at Singa Market in Kano State. He commiserated with traders and people of the state over the devastating fire incident, which he described as tragic. The special advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement on Sunday, said Tinubu had earlier reached out to Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf to obtain a situation report on the fire. The blaze reportedly started at about 4 p.m. on Saturday and continued to burn late into the night. Emergency responders from Kano State Fire Service, supported by the Federal Fire Service and some private organizations, battled the inferno for several hours as traders attempted to salvage their goods. The fire affected parts of the market, including the Gidan Gilas section, where shops and property were damaged. Governor Abba Yusuf, who later visited the scene to assess the situation, called on the federal government to intervene by providing modern firefighting equipment, including air support and other critical tools to help contain the fire and prevent future reoccurrences. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima will on Monday lead the federal government delegations to Kano following the weekend fire disaster at Singa Market. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the delegation is mandated to convey the President's condolences to traders who reportedly lost billions of naira in inferno. The fire, which began on Saturday evening and reached into Sunday morning, caused extensive damage and marked the second such incident at the market within 2 weeks. The delegation is also expected to pledge financial assistance on behalf of the federal government to support affected victims and help the Kano state government facilitate the swift reopening of the market. Members of the team include Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibril, Kawu Ismaila, Abubakar Kabir Bichi, and Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs Dr. Bernard Duru, and Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mrs. Zubaida Umar. Also, electoral governance framework. According to the upper chamber, the position was reached after extensive consultations with key stakeholders in the communications and power sectors, reflecting what it described as the political realities on ground rather than sentiment. The Senate had earlier resolved against Clause 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Bill 2026, which proposed that presiding officers shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to INEC result viewing portal IREF in real time. Lawmakers, however, reviewed the contentious positions in a bid to strengthen electronic transmission in line with public demand, while introducing safeguards to address operational challenges. Under the reverse approach, electronic transmission will still be encouraged, but in the event of internet failure from EC8A would serve as the primary means of result coalition. The Senate maintained that this compromise seeks to balance technological advancement with existing infrastructural limitation. In a statement issued through his Directorate of Media and Public Affairs, Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele noted that while Clause 60, subsection 3 is a reform many legislatures worldwide would ordinarily embrace to deepen trust in democratic institutions, Nigeria's current communication and power infrastructure may not reliably support seamless real-time transmission. Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele noted that while Clause 60, subsection 3 is a reform many legislatures worldwide would ordinarily embrace to deepen trust in democratic institutions, Nigeria's current communication and power infrastructure may not reliably support seamless real-time transmission nationwide. Meanwhile, former officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission have intensified calls for the mandatory real electronic transmission of election results. The push comes as the National Assembly prepares to meet on Tuesday to harmonize different versions of proposed amendments to the Electoral Act. At the center of the debate is the real-time upload of polling unit results to the INEC result viewing portal, a provision that has emerged as one of the most contentious issues before lawmakers. Proponents argue that electronic transmission would enhance transparency, while critics have raised concerns over technical challenges and infrastructure gaps. A former resident electoral commissioner, Mike Igini, said the decision before legislators could significantly shape the credibility of future elections and even influence their political survival ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a statement on Sunday, Igini described the reform as a defining moment for Nigeria's democratic process. He argued that loopholes created by manual coalition had historically enabled the alteration of results, often to the detriment of candidates with strong grassroots support. According to him, mandatory real-time transmission would make results publicly verifiable, reduce opportunities for tampering, and restore public confidence in the electoral system. Adding his voice, former Katsina Rec Alhaji Jibril Zariwa said electronic transmission was initiated by INEC itself and had already proven workable during pilot exercises. On security, the Ariwa Youth for Peace and Security has called on the governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, to urgently intervene in the lingering chieftaincy dispute in Shinya, a routine local government area of the state. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the Secretary General of the group, Comrade Salihuddin Tata Mahmood, expressed concern over what he described as growing tension surrounding the selection process. He stated that information available to the organization suggests that certain powerful and influential individuals within the royal establishment may be attempting to influence the outcome of the selection process, allegedly to the detriment of the wishes of the local populace. Mahmood appealed to the governor to direct the state's commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs to immediately wade into the matter to ensure due process and transparency. According to him, timely intervention would help prevent breakdown of law and order, particularly at a time when the state is grappling with security challenges. The group further disclosed that it had received a petition from concerned residents of Shia alleging the imposition of a candidate who they claim does not enjoy the support of the majority of the community, while urging also development and supporting small businesses and low-income renters. Key provisions, according to the statement, include a value-added tax exemption on land, buildings, and rent, as well as imputed renters are entitled to relief of up to 500,000 naira, representing 20% of annual rent, while leasing agreements below 10 million naira annually are exempt from stamp duty, adding that property owners could deduct expenses such as repairs and insurance from rental income. To business matter now, the Nigerian Labour Congress has threatened a nationwide industrial showdown over the persistent collapse of Nigeria's electricity grid, declaring that a decade of power sector privatization has delivered before privatization. The court for the first time on Monday, 2 months after he and his father allegedly carried out Australia's worst mass shooting in almost 30 years. The 24-year-old appeared in a Sydney court, allegedly carried out Australia's worst mass shooting in almost 30 years. The 24-year-old appeared in a Sydney court for about 5 minutes via video link from prison. He faces 59 charges relating to the Bondi Beach shooting, including 50 counts of murder and one of committing a terrorist attack. Naveed and his father, Sajid, allegedly attacked a Hanukkah event at the famous beach on the 14th of December, killing 15 people and injuring more than 40. Sajid was shot dead by police at the scene, while Naveed was critically injured and later transferred from hospital to prison. Monday was the first time Akram had been seen on screen and spoken since his arrest, saying just one word when Deputy Chief Magistrate Sharon Freud asked if he had a discussion about an extension of suppression orders. For sports news, Chief Magistrate Sharon Freud asked if he had a discussion about an extension of suppression orders. For sports news, let's now join Abel Sunday.
Hello and welcome to PRB Sport News. I'm Abel Sunday. We start at Toughmore, where League One side Murphy Town pulled off a stunning FA Cup upset, defeating Burnley 2-1. Nigel Crossman came from behind, and it was Luis Reed's sensational 80th minute free kick that sealed a historic fifth round spot. Their first in over 5 decades. Serious question now surrounds Scott Parker and Burnley's season. At Etihad, Manchester City handled business with a 2-0 win over Stafford City. New signing McHale opened his account, showing exactly why Pep Guardiola brought him in. At Anfield, Liverpool were dominant, brushing Brighton aside 3-0. Manuel Salah looked back to his electrifying best, while an rotated squad delivered a statement performance. And Arsenal, ruthless, 4 goals in 27 minutes as they demolished Wigan 4-0. A clear warning, the Gunners are hunting on all fronts. As the Memphis sent a strong Sunday.
Thank you so much, Abia Sunday, for that sports news. And welcome to the focus of the day. Now, today we turn our focus to a development that has sparked both praise and criticism: the decision to move the Aso presidential villa off the national grid and power it with solar energy. On the surface, it signals a bold embrace of renewable energy and a commitment to sustainability at the highest level of governance. But beneath that headline lies a deeper national conversation. Via, uh, via Zoom this afternoon by Bode Fadikpe Esquire. He is a lead consultant for temptation to describe it as a cost-saving measure by government is very high. That temptation by government is very high. That temptation to describe it as such is very high. But the signal that it is sending to the general public, especially against the background of the consistent and perennial inefficiencies that we have seen in the power sector, seem to cancel out that temptation to see it as a cost, seem to cancel out that temptation to see it as a cost-saving measure. Even if that is exactly his creed, that should be house number one, or whatever number we want to give to it. But so we see a complete disconnection. So ordinarily one would have expected that, okay, the solar source will be either number one and the grid number two, or the grid is number two and the solar source is number one. But this time around, we are seeing a complete movement. This time around, we are seeing a complete movement out of the grid. So because before you know what is happening, our government, if we say that, look, I cannot even fund the sector again at all. We have seen a situation where federal government is now saying the states should pay the subsidy. Because according to the federal government, in the second schedule of the 1999 Constitution, distribution is a concurrent list item on the national grid. Yes, it will, but it is delicate. By the time you make 600 megawatts since 2013 till date. So if we continue using the grid, it will become an unused facility. Then what? Yes, go ahead. Yes. So what would then be the implication to the economy? Like I said earlier, now that the presidential villa is off the grid technically, and some of the major customers, like you mentioned, the Dangote and those in the cement company and co, are not in the grid at all. What are we expecting in the near future? The implication to the grid is huge, because it means cost of production will be high, goods will become more expensive. If you are not careful, unemployment will follow. Those who are leaving universities will not be able to get new jobs. Admittedly, the power in the grid will be available, but those who will take it will not be able to pay because it will become too expensive. Wow. Is it the vulcanizer that will be able to pay, or the saloonist, or the cottage industry, small and medium scale enterprises? Are they the ones that will be paying about 500 naira per unit of electricity? So the implications for the economy is quite huge. We must look for a way of solving the problem in the power. Qualitative load is available, it is consistent, and that is what we drop the cost of energy. All right, now very quickly, how about the rumored 3 trillion naira subsidy to the Gencos by the federal government that the NLC is kicking already? That it appears is money for the boys, as they put it. So do you think this will resolve the issue of nobody agreeing to take from the grid? And like you just mentioned, it will come a time when nobody will want power from the grid anymore. So it's subsidizing them the way forward. Now, I'm not speaking for the so-called boys, but I think it's derogatory to say that the 3 trillion is money for the boys. Did they supply the electricity? On the face of it, there are so many issues around, so many conversations around that